What is up, Leandro?
Hey, what's going on?
What are we here for?
Come on, isn't it obvious?
No.
Starblades!
So we're
Let's
going to
go.
review Starblades. Now, Leandro, it's your first time doing a review with me. George did not back this book, so we always do it by story, and story includes the letters and the editing. If there's editing problems, then we do it by the art, and then we grade the physical quality of the book. We grade A through F, and then we give an overall grade at the end. So that's how we do it. I know you know that. I'm just kind of going over it. So let's get into the story
All right.
of Starblades by Kyle Ritter. What did you think, Leandro?
I thought it was a good story. There was some complexity in there. Storytelling. There was some depth to some of the characters, not all. I think that there was a little bit lacking as far as for some of the characters that I would have liked to see more of. And but other than that, the story flowed. Especially with the big panels and stuff like that, the story just kept going, kept flowing, and you just read through the book pretty easily. So
What
that's what I thought.
what would you give the story yourself?
The story, um, I think it could have definitely used an editor, probably to help out, reorganize certain aspects of the story. Like I felt maybe the snake sequence when it was chasing what's his name. Uh,
Yeah, you don't have to look up. Right. Yeah.
you know what I'm talking about?
Right.
Yeah, I felt that could have been in the beginning to give
Hmm.
you a quick, to pull you into the story. As if, let's say, if we were at a retail store and you open up the book and that's the first thing you see, you're like, oh crap, that looks awesome, and
Hmm.
it forces you to look through the book. I thought that would have been good to start off with, and then go into the guard axe sequence.
Mm.
So, but other than that, I'd give it a B minus. I think.
Okay. So I had all kinds of issues with the story, Leandro. For me personally,
Go
the
ahead, tell me.
characters are bland. You don't get invested in them at all, and it's just because they're thrown at you. There's no development. There's no character development in this book whatsoever. These characters are just thrown at you. You're not given a reason to care. Uh, in the art, actually, the art and storytelling. I mean, I know we separate it, but it kind of combines. There are no payoffs in this book as far as panels are concerned. You were talking about the snake scene. Well, I mean, in that scene, the snake is chasing the dudes in one panel. The next panel, the snake's dead. There's no fighting. There's no payoff as far as action sequences are concerned. The snake's alive. The snake's dead. Now there is a shot where you could see like a punch coming, but then the snake's dead. It's just very disappointing, and that happens throughout the book over and over and over. Like you have to let me give my opinion. So,
There's so bad. No, go ahead. Go ahead.
yeah. So I mean that happens repetitively throughout the book. I mean, it needs at least a copy editor. Um, the story I don't think flows well at all. It was hard to follow, especially the first few pages. It was hard to follow. So, I mean, I think that Kyle would have benefited from actually having a writer on his team with him. Somehow he could have gave the writer the outline, like this is what I want to do, and then the writer would break it down for him. This is Kyle's first book, so I mean, it's expected for me. I expected a little bit of this. I didn't go in expecting this would be Dark Knight Returns or whatever at all. But I mean, I'm giving it an honest grade. And if I had to look at other books I've gotten, even in Comicsgate this year, verse in nonetheless mainstream books, I'd probably grade this story as like a D minus.
Okay.
You had a counterpoint?
Well, the counterpoint on the snake sequence was that it was a trap, right? It
Yeah,
was
but
some
it's
sort of illusion. It wasn't like it was a physical snake that they were literally
right.
fighting. It was just a trap, a
Hmm.
means to get them to where the snake tribe was ready to ambush them. Because he even said it like, "Yo, that felt too easy," you
Right.
know.
My point is though, is there's still no payoff. The big establishing shot for that scene is this big ass snake chasing them.
Now, the thing about when you say there is no payoff, I agree to a degree, because when they're ambushed, and then he's saying, "Hey, you guys, killed my, you know, my kingdom. You took over our kingdom. You killed my family, and all this stuff." And then literally, I guess he took one guy's weapon and hit another guy, and then they ran off, and he went into his primal rage. Well, there wasn't no in-depth action sequence to display that rage, that primal
No, that's
instinct.
another
And
example, and I'm trying to hold it so we don't give too many spoilers. But like I said,
I'm not giving too
no,
many
you're not.
spoilers.
You're fine. You're fine. But it happens. That keeps happening. It's a reoccurring theme throughout the book where there's no payoff, and I'll talk more about that when we get to the art sequence. But that for me, that's it. And then the dialogue to me was really clunky, Leandro. There's one panel
Yeah,
where he says, "I have nothing left to live for, but I'll fight on anyways." And I'm like, "Well, if you have nothing left to live for, why the hell are you fighting on?" Like this little shit like that throughout the book for me, like kind of, it's just ugh. Like he need Kyle needs some help on the writing side, and and I know D- is a harsh grade. I get it, but I mean, I have to be real. Like to me, it is the story is a D-. So looks
gotcha.
like we disagree quite a bit, which I expected. I
Yeah.
expected that, and that's fine. So you want to get to the art? What did you think about the art, Leandro?
Oh, I thought the art was top notch. I did not know that Kyle Ritter, before uh, receiving this book, was already had done some previous work at one of the twos, or probably both at the two big companies. But it actually showed, his pro level art. The rendering, he has that nostalgic '90s, slight '90s style, but it's really his own. I can't really pick
Mm-hmm.
which current artist or past artist it's similar to, but I really think he has his own style here,
Mm-hmm.
and I enjoyed it. I enjoyed it a lot. So
What
I,
would you give it?
I would give it an A for
Okay.
sure. I mean, it's top notch.
Right, and I would agree that the art is good. I don't know if I'd call it '90s. I don't think he has just a Mountain Rider rendering for me. Like so, uh, it's very good. If you're looking for a book where there's a bunch of cool panels with people in heroic poses, the art in this is fantastic, fantastic. Um, I am going to grade the art down, and it bleeds in the story because I feel like his layouts, his artistic layouts, if you will, like suffered. But I went into that in a little story. So to me, what this is cool, this book is cool for me, Leandro, is this is a cool book just to look at. There's all these dudes in heroic like poses or whatever, yeah, and but that's pretty much what the book is. All in all, it's just a bunch of like cool characters standing and looking really cool. And Kyle can draw. He's a talent, like you said. That's undeniable. He needs to work on incorporating action, I think, a little bit because there's not a lot of action in these panels, and that's worrisome to me. Because of the lack of action and the lack of payoffs, I would grade it probably a B plus. I wouldn't give it an A. And again, I know that's bleeds into the story, but art is part of the story. So I give it a B plus. Kyle's a fantastic artist, and I can't no that's undeniable.
So what you're saying is, if he did have an editor, he did have a writer, the art would be an A minus at best.
No, I don't know. I don't know that. I don't know if there's some writers just want to draw characters in a coffee shop drinking coffee for 6 pages.
I'm only
I
saying that.
don't I don't know, but yeah, there was. I would say he didn't show enough. What would I say?
What,
I
like a
don't.
hero's journey?
No, it's not even that. That would be story. It wasn't dynamic enough. The samples of art in this book. It's mostly for me just really cool looking characters in really cool poses over and over and over. So because of the lack of diverse art, um, poses or whatever. I don't know what the word I'm looking for. I'm searching for it. I'm missing it. But yeah, I would grade it down just a little bit. So B plus.
All right.
So what would you give the physical quality, Leandro?
The quality?
Mm-hmm.
I give that an A.
Mm-hmm.
You know, it's very well done. You have the you can feel the rise on the embossed logo.
Mm-hmm.
The pages are, I believe they're glossy, and
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it feels good in my fingers, and
yeah,
I like
A for me as well. I like the finish on the cover. It's not over glossed. It's more of a satin, so I enjoy that.
and
But
that
also,
might have something to do with it as well.
what?
All caps.
Oh, well, I'm sure. You know, Ethan's printer works with Ethan quite a bit. But I would give it an A overall for me, and I'll let you go after myself. I give this book probably a C minus for me. Now C minus, you know, yeah, I know it's harsh, but look, I'm trying to keep it real. So I mean, that's my personal opinion. So what would you give it overall?
I'll give it a B plus.
There you go. Yeah. Would you back Kyle again?
Oh yeah, I want to see how all this how he improves into the next book. I want to see that growth, you know, and I think he's going to definitely do it. I think he's going to learn from it for sure.
Yeah. I would also back again. Now, I wouldn't recommend. The difference is, and people are like, "Well, you get him to C minus, and you'll back him again." Yeah, that's for me. I'm not going to recommend this book to anybody. You know, if it's a good book, I go out of my way to say, "Hey, I really enjoyed this." But for me, I want to see it just like you. I think he's a hell of an artist, and I think he's going to grow. And I feel like his next book will be better. I hope that he tries to get some advice from his peers and other people that have successful books, get in contact with them, see what he could have done different. But I'm on board. He's a great artist. Like, I can't stress that enough. And I want, even this book is just really cool to flip through, like just to look at his art.
Oh yeah,
you know, minus if you take away the story or whatever. I mean, it is fun just to flip through, and I think he'll grow. He's got like great people surrounding him, so I can't see people not reaching out to him and say, "Hey, you could have done this or you could have done that." So I would back again. I just wouldn't recommend it right now.
Gotcha. Well, I would definitely back again, and I would definitely recommend it because I think he's, you know, that's where I disagree. I think the next book is gonna go to the next level, and for that reason, you should have the first book so you know what the heck's going on. And I think an editor is going to help him out. I believe he's going to probably get an editor and help him straighten all the mistakes in the storytelling to help it flow much better in the second book. But you know, I thought it still had a good story. You know, it felt like that, you know, the old cartoons from the 80s type thing, you know. So maybe me being from that era, maybe that's why.
Well, I'm from that era. I'm from that era too, though. You forget.
Yeah, I forget. You know, I don't really get to see your face much, so
I'm literally 42 years old, Leandro. Literally. So yeah, I'm right from that era. Now, I think maybe, and this could be another discussion for another time, but you happen to be a big Image guy from the 90s, and me, not so much. I'm more of a DC guy, so that might have, because I was trying to explain to somebody to Starblades how I felt about it, and I says it's like Image in the 90s, where the book for me a lot after, like a lot of those Image books 1 through 4 were really good.
Yeah,
not really good, but they were good. But then after issue 4, for me, it took a drastic drop off. So for me, this is like an Image book, issue number 6 of like Savage Dragon, where it's really cool to look at, but there's not much there. So that's how I explained it to somebody.
Gotcha.
So, well, all right, I give it a C-. You give it a what?
A B+.
A B+. So there we go. That is our Starblades review.
Yeah, that'll be my final B+.
You're fine. Oh, you're final. Okay. Trying to think. I think George and I have the Lucent coming up, and probably Warts and all. So we will have more reviews coming your way, and maybe we'll have Leandro back for next time. George be's a Grinch and doesn't bag something. I'm not back.
Come
All
on,
right.
George.
Yeah, that's right. All right. Take it easy, guys.